Let's talk Yes Arts. How about it?
Yeah, let's do.
Yeah, tell us about just kind of the mission, first of all, of Yes Arts.
So we started with a mission, our newest mission. We have rebranded over the years, and so our current mission is mobilizing the power of community and the arts to disrupt the cycle of addiction. So we are currently working with people in recovery, and we've recently expanded to offering a primary prevention, which is a program for all youth in Franklin County and surrounding counties.
How did that get started?
So our organization started with our founding artist, Doris Thurber. She is a local artist, and she lost her daughter, Maya, who was 22, to overdose in 2015. And so Doris and two other local artists, Joanna Hay and Jennifer Zing, they wanted to come together and use art to help other people who are in recovery, women in recovery specifically. And so in 2016, they started some programs with the Franklin County Drug Court. And so the women who were in drug court were able to come for weekly art classes with those three women. And that went on for a number of years before we became a 501c3 under the name of Hands Healing Hearts. And then, of course, fast forward a little bit more, and we hired an executive director and went through a rebrand just because we felt like Hands Healing Hearts wasn't just the right fit for our organization. At the time, it was three fabulous artists, and they brought in a lot of guest artists, but no one was an art therapist, so healing kind of implied something that perhaps we weren't. We were healing in the holistic sense, but because of that, and Hands Healing Hearts is a bit of a tongue twister and hard to stick. So we rebranded to Yes Arts around the time that we started our youth program, because we identified that you aren't just trying to kind of go with the same thread of abstinence. Like DARE program was always say no to drugs. And with kids today, that's not working. You've got to give them something to say yes to. And so that's when everything shifted. Our youth program started as Yes Arts, and then we eventually rebranded the whole organization.
You guys have taken over. When did you move into your current facility?
I started as the executive director in July of 21. We signed the lease with the city in, I think, October or November. So around that time, it was right in the height of the pandemic.
No,
so
that
not
was
a
my
lot of people
recollection.
saw
Was
it.
it was that, yeah. But now, kind of through that, and you guys are starting to able to lean into that a little bit. Has that been a game changer for you guys? To
It
have
has
that
been an
space?
absolute game changer for us, having the new space. We were in a small place up on Shelby Street that was working for us when we had the once a week art class for the women. But as we went into the pandemic, we actually we started our entire youth program. We really leaned into it during the pandemic, so everything was virtual. And the need was so great for young people to have a place to connect. And so our virtual visual arts academies and things that we put on during the pandemic, we really identified that there was a great need in our community for art services, but also just a connecting place, a safe, inclusive place for kids to go and be heard and, find friendships and form mentorships. And so getting the building was definitely a game changer for that, as well as our art recovery program. What formerly was the women's group has now expanded. We call that program ART, and it stands for Achieving Recovery Together. And that program is for people in recovery through drug court, but we have most recently expanded to working with men and women. And we have also expanded partners, so we now have a program with Fresh Start Frankfort, which is formerly Franklin County Women and Family Shelter, but they now have a recovery housing program. And then we also have a community group, and the community group is open to anyone in the area. I mean, we have people who drive from Somerset for that group, and so anyone in recovery, any adult in recovery can come to our group. We actually have one going on this coming Sunday. It's on the third Sunday of every month.
Okay, so you guys meet once a month.
Yes.
And if folks are interested in finding out more about that, they should just reach out to you guys.
They can, reach out to us, find us on Facebook or on our website. I will say that we also have shifted our recovery program because it started with artists leading just, these beautiful art classes revolving around visual arts, but also poetry and drama. I mean, they really wove in all kinds of different art forms. And in the pandemic, I started leading that group. Doris and Jennifer and Joanna were in a place in each of their individual lives that they were stepping out of it. And, virtual services were something that, virtual art services, it was a big undertaking. And I'm in recovery. I have 10 years. I just celebrated my 10-year healthy birthday. So thank you very much. And so it really shifted from being, and I'm also an art major. So my background is in art. I'm from Frankfurt, but I went to art school. And so it shifted from being an art class led by these 3 fabulous ladies to I started leading virtual programs online, and I used my lived experience to kind of walk the women through a curriculum. And then when we got the building, we were able to hire a contract art therapist. And now myself, as well as one of our other employees who has over 10 years in recovery, have been credentialed as peer support specialist, which is it's a way that you can use your lived experience to kind of counsel new people new in recovery through that journey. And so we now, our entire art program is now facilitated by an art therapist and our 2 peer support. So it's a really well-rounded program.
When you have new folks coming in, is there, not a challenge, but is part of it like helping them understand that just because you don't know how to paint, a perfect painting of a whatever, that you can still engage in this, and that art is more than just maybe what you think about?
Yeah, that's a great question. We always start a lot of our sessions with new groups asking when the last time you picked up an art material is. And for some people, it's, with their kids. A lot of people have children that have art projects for school or whatever that you get engaged in. But sometimes the answer is not since I was in middle school or elementary school. And, a lot of the data shows that as a population, we stop being imaginative and we stop using art materials when we're somewhere around 4th grade, 5th grade, is when our brain starts telling us we're either an artist or we're not.
Yeah.
And so if you're in that pot that says, well, I'm not very good at art, then you just stop trying to be good at art.
Right.
And the reality is, no matter whether you're making a masterpiece or you're just using the materials and smearing them on the paper, it feels good. So we really emphasize that at the beginning of each program. You don't have to be good at art. You don't have to like art. But when you come here, it's going to allow you to work through stuff that you might not know.
Right.
And, a lot of people don't like to talk to people, A lot of people aren't people-y people. So doing talk therapy might not be their cup of tea. And they might think, okay, I don't want to do art therapy because then I have to make art and talk. But it's a whole different thing. And we have not found anyone yet who's attended our program who didn't walk away feeling good about it. So
That's great.
yeah.
I would imagine that the whole program has shifted over the years as you all kind of figured these things out, and especially when you, like you said, the pandemic and the kids programs, I'm sure that changed everything.
Yes.
You've got an event coming up tomorrow night, I think.
Yes.
Is it Kids Night Out?
Well, it's not tomorrow night. That one's coming up on August 6th, but we will be back to talk to you all with that. That is actually a really special event in partnership with Frankfurt Police Department. And so I can tell you a little bit today about what started that relationship and how does that make sense with Yes Arts.
Sure.
So we received a grant from the Department of Justice. It was a micro grant for community policing. And so it was actually the city of Frankfurt and the police department who applied, and they wrote us in as a program partner. And the goal of that grant was to bring, the very original grant was to bring people in recovery through our drug court program together with officers in Frankfurt. And the entire program started with Yes Arts. We offer, all of our providers are trained on trauma-informed care, implicit bias, neurodiversity, and all of the things that we feel are going to create a strong relationship with other people. And that goes in line with our mission. And so since we have all of these trainings under our belt, the very first phase of that original grant with the police department was to offer training to the police. And so the officers came to Yes Arts and we trained them on implicit bias and microaggressions and micro-messaging and just things that we felt would be really relevant to working with a population of people in recovery. And then at the same time the officers were getting trained, the people in our drug court program were starting their art therapy sessions with Janet and Amanda and I. And then we brought both populations together. We shared a meal and we painted the murals that are now on the side of Yes Arts building. I don't know if you all have driven into downtown from Louisville Road Hill, but there are 7 giant panels and we created those together with our population of people in recovery and the officers. And so it was a collab. We called it the Art Collab. And so that's what spearheaded the very first interactions with the police department. From that, the Department of Justice loved that grant. Our representative actually came down from D.C. for our ribbon cutting on the mural, so that was really cool. And they awarded us a second microgrant. This time working in the partnership, instead of being with Drug Court, it's with Wanda Joyce Robinson Foundation, who works with children who have incarcerated parents. So this grant that we're in currently is to bring the children who have incarcerated parents and may have had some hard interactions with police early in their life together with the officers. And again, a whole nother level of training, this time focused on youth and trauma, and then bringing them together. And we painted a mural at the police department in the community room. And so this event that we're doing, we kind of jumped on to National Night Out with the police because they do this event every year, and it's all about community policing and, you know, being available to families in our community. So we are going to do a ribbon cutting for that.
Okay.
So that's really cool. And we'll come back I'll have Dusty on the show with us on the 31st, and we'll be telling you all about it.
Okay, so you'll be doing that in August.
The event is August 6th. It's
Okay.
a Tuesday night at 5:30, but we'll come on the 31st of July to tell you more about it.
Okay, and so tomorrow night is actually Messmaker Kids Night?
So we've had a little schedule change.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning is Bluey's Big Adventure. So we've started in the summertime, we do summer pop-ups. So we typically do a kids' night out, but we've shifted to doing these new kind of pop-up programs. And so tomorrow has been one of the most sought after. It booked in, I think, under 3 minutes, this program. And it's for toddlers, and they're grown-ups. So it's kind of a grown-up and me style format to encourage family engagement. And the kids are coming, and we're going to make Bluey foods and have Bluey games. Are you all Bluey fans?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
If you're not,
Okay.
get out of here.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you if
I
you're
am
not a Bluey
glad I'm
fan.
in the presence of some Bluey. Some of my staff, I had to make them go watch the show.
Oh, yeah.
It's so important. But the parents are so wonderful on Bluey, and I was like, what better way to have a grown-up and me program than to do
that's
Bluey
awesome.
stuff. So we have Bluey tomorrow, and lots of programs coming up throughout the week. But I will tell you one other little thing about our youth program that people don't always, maybe isn't really clear in our mission. Our work with youth is primary prevention or universal. And so what that means is it's for all children. And so we aren't there talking about saying no to drugs or use or misuse. We're not talking about drugs at all in our programs. It's just all about forming those protective factors, the mentorships, the friendships.
Diversion before you ever get there, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And so it's really just creating a place that people feel is their place. So when kids come to Yes Arts, I love it because, you know, we have these kids who come to regular programs, and when they come in and there's a new friend, they're like, let me just go show you around. This is like, you can tell they have ownership that it's a place for them. So
love it.
It's a really cool thing. But we do have programs that are for anyone in the community, of, you know, any youth through 18. But then we also have targeted partnership programs like what I talked about with Wanda Joyce. We have Academy students. Are you all familiar with Academy? It's our local alternative middle and high school with the Franklin County Public Schools. They come down 3 days a week to do their art credit with us because they don't have an art teacher in the school. We have partnerships with Second Street. We do their garden club. We do Gifted and Talent. It's all the gifted and talented students across the county come and do leadership groups and music and art, visual art. So there is a wide variety of things where if you're in a targeted group, you come to Yes Arts. And then there's other programs like Bluey that anybody can sign up for, summer camps and things like that.
So let me ask you this. If people are hearing this and they're like, I love all these amazing programs that and all the people they're helping, and how can I support them? What would you suggest?
The best thing right now is a financial donation or volunteering. They can find us online on our website, yesarts.org. Our greatest hardship right now, and it is a beautiful blessing, is that we look like we don't have programs because they fill in a few minutes
so fast,
and then they're gone. And so we have grown our staff from 3 to 25. Of course, lots of contractors working within our programs, but we have had to really have rapid growth to meet the need of the community. And so I guess I would say if you're looking for programs, keep going back to our enroll tab, watching our Facebook, because when things come out, they go quick. But we try and be fair and not tell anybody it's coming. But it's a little bit of a problem, and we've expanded. And so this year we did 3 weeks of full weeks of summer camp. Last year we only had 2, and we threw a third one in because the first they enrolled in under 24 hours. And it's hard. It's hard to
Yeah.
have an organization that you look like you don't have anything to do
Yeah.
when you're doing something 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think all you'd have to do is listen to this for 3 minutes to know
Right.
that you guys have a lot going
Yes,
on. It's
that's
unbelievable.
incredible.
so if you give us more funding, we
Yeah.
will hire more
Do more
people. We will
stuff.
have more programs.
I mean, and if it's hard to argue that if any organization deserves it, that it's your
Yeah.
all and all the work you're doing, and it's
Yeah.
just across the board for young people and for adults, and
thank you all.
I'm just blown away. Elle, thanks for being here.
Thank you all for having us.
Yeah, it's great to have you, and we'll be having you again soon.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll be excited to be back with Chief Dustin Bowman.
Great.
Great.
And hope all the kids enjoy Bluey
Tomorrow morning.
tomorrow morning. Yeah.
I think we're gonna have a good time.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm sure.